Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from Silver Nest with 4 kids and homeschooling for 11 years, and I'm here today to do a really quick, sorry, looking down at my pile, but a really quick overview of the way that you can do some hands-on, what we did for hands-on phonics, learning and games, etc. for younger kids, maybe K through second grade or even beyond. Some of the resources could work all through elementary, depending on where your young reader is. We did start with trying to teach our son to read before he went to kindergarten, and he picked up a lot of the letters. He could do the ABCs. We sang songs. That's always a really great way to get your kids to memorize facts. But when we sent him to kindergarten, we realized we really had not done a good job with his handwriting. And so focusing back on there is a right way and a wrong way to write letters. And so I'm super grateful to his kindergarten teacher. And then we started homeschooling after that. So right now he's a senior. But the things that we ended up picking up to do for our homeschooling, we've done them from the get-go all the way to the finish. And I have done with this curriculum, but I went and I found somebody had one for free. So I grabbed it for you so I could kind of show it to you and see what you think, if that would help you with the way you're teaching your kids how to read. Now, there are a lot of really great complicated phonics programs out there, but we found this one was the easiest, the cheapest, the simplest, and as long as we spent the time about 10 to 20 minutes a day helping them practice their reading and giving them incentives. There's a couple videos I have about this already, but basically we are not above bribing our children to learn to read. We think that that is one of the most important things that they are ever going to learn, and so giving them a sweet taste of what that's like is very key. And so that is one of the reasons why we reward them when they finish a workbook. We reward them when they finish a book. We reward them if they're struggling. We'll reward them with one page. I mean, whatever, if it's a fruit snack, if it's a larger goal that they earn stickers up enough to buy something off of a buy price, whatever it is, I will find the currency it takes to make sure that the reading is sweet. And we also understand that anything worth doing is hard. And so learning to read is hard. It's just hard. And so I did a whole video on why and how, but this one is very much going to be focused on me doing kind of a flip through of this phonics book. It's been partly used. It's not my children. I don't know whose children it is. So, but it will give you an idea if this is going to work for you. So this is, let me flip the camera. This is Explode the Code 6. Okay, so they have books A, B, C, which helps them learn their actual alphabet and how to write. But again, I would, go real slow and careful with the writing just to make sure that they can write properly. As a left-handed person, I always found that really difficult. So some of my kids have popped out with excellent handwriting and some not, but that's okay. That's okay. They're all legible. I one of my keys and tips for that is have them read it back to you. And if they can't read it, writing is all about communication. And if you can't read it and they can't read it, then, you need to go back and do it again. So that's always kind of my litmus test. Can they read it to me? And if they're not even able to read their own handwriting, that kind of gives them a good indication they're not quite there yet. All right. So, but this is book 6. And we did use the half books. They do come with half books as well. And that kind of helped us to reinforce the concepts. But as you can tell, this is going to be out. This is going to be law. Put it together, you're going to get outlaw. And the art is kind of a silly, funny, exaggerated drawing. And so what they do so it's not grade related. Don't think 6 means 6th grade, okay? Think just in order of whatever that they need. In fact, one of our kids, we went back and did a little bit earlier just so they could whip through it, feel confident. And you can see here, the first thing they're going to do in this book is they're going to write the word again, right? And then circle the correct picture. So it's going to help a little bit with vocab, also spelling. And AR says R as in star, okay? So this part here, you would just read this with them, and then you would help them till they got down to the point where they could understand, okay, ka-ar, fa-arm, ka-ard, yarn. You could have them read all those to you and then just hand them the booklet and let them do it themselves and write the words and then find the right words and circle them. My kids would do about 3 pages a day. So, and then we go here again, it'll repeat. R says R as in star. Circle the word that matches the picture. So this one's really nice and easy. They just have to match the picture and practice their reading. And then here, they're actually going to build the word by correctly circling the right letters that would create the word that they're trying to draw based on the picture. Now, a lot of these pictures repeat, so that's really helpful because they're, it's like here you have shack, And over here, it's barn. You can see it's slightly different. So sometimes my kids would get a little confused on that. But in general, they were like pretty good at going, oh, okay, this is, you know, and if the picture's a little funny or weird, and sometimes they come and say, Mom, what's this picture supposed to be of? But in general, they could do it. Now you see, because it's 3 pages, right? It's different on each of those pages, but they will end up repeating. So that would have been day 1 for my kids. So then day 2 would have been, they're going to read this question and answer yes or no. And I would sit there with them and help them if they needed help reading. Do the planets and do the stars and planets shine in the daytime? And then this person was wise and they put yes and no, because sometimes it does. And I would accept this answer as well. And here we have this, you know, they should be able to read all those words, because this is been cut in half. And so, you know, going back again, and then sparkle, parking, artist, circle. So this first they'd be reading, then they'd be circling. And then their third one would be, again, here we are, writing and filling in the information. So that is the next type of page that exists, right? Match the word to the right thing. And then these are the really silly sentences with the silly art that my kids always found really funny. That'd be next day. And then they're on the final day, they actually would only do 2 pages, because this is their test page, where you can see if they remember how to spell these words with absolutely no help whatsoever. Okay. And then the next, so they would only do 2 pages. So go back to 3 pages again. This would be the next lesson. or says or as in fork. And as you can see, it repeats all the same kinds of pages. So once the kids understand how the pages work, you're not going back and reteaching that. That part is already settled in their minds. All right. But they're just going to keep adding in new information. And because the pages are different, they help hit different learning points. They're going to be able to figure it out slowly but surely, and work through what they need to work through. Now, again, that is what we did. We did 3 pages a day. And then that last day we would do 2 pages so that they could take the time to spell and handwrite properly. The other thing is that you need to do your own child, right? So in that respect, I've got friends that did 1 page a day, and I've got friends that did 4 pages a day, and I've got friends that did an entire lesson in 1 day. I would not do that. That's too fast for them to grasp the new idea of AR says star, OR says or. I would slow it down from there. But if you mix this with Bob books and Anton B books and appropriate readers, Dr. Seuss, you're really going to get the full curriculum that you need. Okay, this is really what you need. And, what worked for, I guess I should back that up. This is what worked for us. I have friends that had really expensive programs with flashcards and all kinds of things. And it was complicated. They got it to work, and their children read great. My children also are great, voracious readers. Some of them love it more than others, but all of them are successfully reading whatever they need to read. My sister has used this some with her dyslexic children, and she's also used the Thinking Fun games. Thinking Tree games and dyslexic games that they have put out, and that has helped their kids a whole bunch too. But yeah, we started at the beginning. We worked to the end. Note, books 7 and 8 jump drastically. They completely change out kind of that phonics building to mastery. And so I would, if you're going, I'm going to do book 1 and 2 in first grade, and 3 and 4 in second grade, and 5 and 6 in third grade, which is kind of what we ended up doing, I would not necessarily jump to 7 and 8 in fourth grade. I would probably do book 7 and 7.5, and then wait until fifth grade to do 8, 8.5. But you look at the book. There are some flip throughs online, and make that call yourself. But for us, it was quite a big jump. It stopped being so much about phonics and ended up being more of some more like grammars type things, and we just didn't find it to be the same. But the rest of them was great. It worked out well. All right. So on top of that, what we did, especially for the final child, is we added in some board games. So we've looked at these before with you, but these are the story cubes where you would practice your storytelling skills. You can use them for writing or for It's just telling stories back and forth where you roll a couple dice, pick out pictures from them, and then either start a paragraph based on what dice you chose, or else you go around in a circle and tell a story as a group using the dice that you have chosen. And then we also have Quiddler. This is probably my favorite and my kids' favorite spelling game. We've actually given it away a couple times and bought it again, meaning we've given other people copies because it's just such a great game. But they have this beautiful artwork, and you're spelling the first word round, you're trying to spell a 3-letter word. The second word round, you're trying to spell a 4-letter word and a 5-letter word, etc. Drawing and trading out cards. But what they don't know is there is a lot of math involved, because you're actually adding and subtracting points all the time. So the kids are getting such a healthy dose of spelling, and also a really healthy dose of math, and especially the higher maths of the larger numbers. The ones that are easier to use are worth less points, and the harder letters are worth more points. And so you get that kind of edge of trying to be creative and get those more difficult words used, or you can trade them back in. So highly recommend Quiddler as a math game and as a spelling game. If you are pressed for time one day and you need to cover both subjects in one set, don't tell them they're doing math. They might feel like, uh-oh, I just got conned. But, as far as like if you're in a bind, this is a really, really great one for that. And my kids rate this very, very highly on the fun level. I would say that we joke about the fact that games are either highly educational or highly fun, or, on that scale, they flip from one to the other. My kids think this game is highly fun. They forget that it's educational. So that gets a lot of points. You also have something like Possum, this education word game. I've sent it out to friends and they just actually sent it back to me. But in this one too, they're trying to roll dice and make words, really small words. It says 8+, but I think that's because of the vocabulary and the need to figure out like what letters would actually go with the words in here. I wish it had more letters. I feel like there's a limited amount of dice that kind of causes this to be not as useful as maybe some of the other rolling games when it comes to spelling. And then always there's an option of a bananagram. So this happens to be French bananagrams, but you can always pick up a Scrabble set from the thrift store or bananagrams and use and practice spelling the same exact words that you're already doing in your phonics, etc., with letter tiles. And sometimes for some kids, building it in 3D is much better. My favorite for that is actually Apple letters, because it's designed for younger kids. There is a younger junior bananagrams as well that I haven't really worked with as much, but I like Apple letters better because you're spelling one long continuous word as a group instead of so you can fix their spelling mistakes right away. Whereas in bananagrams, you're all playing on your own, and then you find out you spelled stuff wrong at the very end, and it's discouraging for new spellers. It's fine for people who have already been spelling quite a bit and they can laugh at their mistakes. But when it comes to like new spellers trying to spell FAT and BAD and TIME, yesterday was playing a game called Zingo with my niece. She's 5. And, she was spelling boat, B-O-T. And so, right away, we're able to look at that and say, okay, I'm so sorry. That's a complicated word. You need a B-O-A-T. But you're right. That's the way it would phonetically sound. And so sometimes being able to be right there with them when they're working on something can be really helpful. And that's what I like about Quiddler too. Back to my favorite, because you're actually spelling, laying out the words in front of you and are able to immediately see if they're spelled correctly or not. All right. Well, I hope that helped. Like I said, that's a quick rundown of how we would do a day. We would go over the lesson with me. They would do their 3 pages. If they needed me, if they didn't need me, then they would just go do their 3 pages. We would add in maybe a game on Friday or on Monday to help kind of loosen up those thought processes. And that was our throw. And then we would sit down with me or my husband and do 10 to 20 minutes of reading practice, get whatever reward it was for the reading. And that really was the way we did phonics. When you come to like the spelling and the grammar and all the other literature parts of English and language, that, we did other things for those, but this was our basic. This is exactly how we did life. It worked really well for us. And I hope it helps you think through what might work for your kids and that you are having a great day. It's not raining today. It's sunny. It's actually warming up here in the PNW. And so I thought I'd sit outside for a little bit, give you a taste of our wonderful property where we're so blessed to live. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.